In this lake, you have to fight to survive. Welcome to I Hope You Suffer.
I feel
I feel
like
like
that's
that's
every
true
lake.
of it. Yeah, any
Yeah.
lake.
When you
At
hate
any
water
time
and
of
the things that
day.
dwell in it.
Yeah, just don't go in the water if you want to survive.
Yeah, water's bad.
There's like one moment where the PhD guy is like, or no, it's the cop. She's like, people go in that lake to feel safe. And I was like,
What?
That seems like their problem. I don't know who's going in a lake to feel safe.
That's
Yeah.
a foolish error.
Like, you can't even see into a lake. It's gross and muddy, and like
Ugh,
So green.
you don't know what's in there.
brown.
All kinds of parasites swimming in your
Ew.
pee hole.
I was literally about to say that.
No one wants that.
No.
This is episode 248 of I Hope You Suffer. Everybody in this movie's got regular names. This is boring.
Yeah.
Christopher the Camper. I'm Christopher the Camper.
I'm surprised second bull shark.
Oh, I'm surprised third bull shark.
Yeah, you're the baby bull sharks.
There's so many bull sharks in this film.
So many surprises.
We are talking about 2015's Shark Lake, starring
Yeah.
and produced by PhD. I think he's a PhD. Didn't he have like a doctorate or some shit?
I
Dolph
think
Lundgren?
I think he has a doctorate
Oh, Dr.
in
Dolph
engineering.
Lundgren.
I think.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was trying to. He's received a degree in chemical engineering, a master's
Chemical
degree
engineering.
in chemical engineering.
Yeah.
I like how
He holds the
this
rank
says.
of fourth Dan black belt in
Oh
something
shit!
karate.
Kyokushin karate, and was
I love
European
how-
champion.
This says he has starred in more than 69 films.
Nice.
He has started.
It's like 140, but they just wanted to say that.
104.
That's why I'm like, what?
What a king.
We stand.
A good dude. Because,
His bio is very long.
well, he's been in more than 69 movies. What do you expect?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sharknado 5, Global Swarming.
He's He-Man. He's the fucking coolest. The only He-Man I acknowledge.
Yeah, same.
Well, he's got
As
a
I
lot
don't know who else played He-Man, to be honest with you, but
I think all just the cartoons, but I don't. Actually, I think Mon-El is the He-Man in the Kevin Smith one. Mon-El from Supergirl.
Did y'all
oh,
know that 3 masked burglars broke into his house in 2009 and tied up and threatened his wife? But then they saw a picture of him and were like, "Oh fuck, this is Dolph Lundgren's house." They ran
Oh
away
my-
after that.
I actually think I remember.
Oh my God.
Remember reading an article about that.
That's incredible. And also, same. If I saw a house
I mean,
belonging to Dolph Lundgren, I'd be like, "Oh fuck this, absolutely
Yeah.
not. I'm putting
I don't
everything
think-
back."
Like here's $30.
Yeah,
I
whatever's
was
in my
gonna
wallet.
say, you're like bringing things in to spruce up the place even more. Fresh coat of paint, Dolph?
I feel like Dolph Lundgren got like the real shitty end of the stick of all of those like 90s sort of action dudes that were like huge for a minute.
Way better than Seagal ever was.
Yeah, like him and Van Damme just kind of got relegated to these like just straight to
Weird action thrillers,
Yeah,
direct
like-
to video.
yeah, and like they're like the two that shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of these movies look pretty bad. But I would watch all of them. There's one with him and fucking Scott Adkins that I'm sure.
Oh, fuck yeah. That's not a Universal Soldier film?
Yeah,
I was gonna say, he's
Castle
in-
Falls.
I didn't realize there was so many.
Oh shit! It's directed by Dolph Lundgren.
Hell yeah. I'm in.
It's got a solid
I forgot-
2.8 star rating, so it can't be too terrible.
I forgot he was in It's Always Sunny as John Thundergun.
Oh yeah, I've been meaning to do like a rewatch of Sunny, and I just like haven't gotten to it because like
Perfect
almost
television series.
that's one of those shows that anytime a new season drops, I'm always like, oh, I'm just gonna rewatch the whole thing to get to the new season.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. So Shark Lake, way better than the 1.6 star rating. Like it's
I'm
not
saying
it's not good, but it's like it's on par with
It's
most
fun.
of the fucking sci-fi shark movies. Like the CGI shark, very stupid. But like
And
Dolph Lundgren
there was
punching the shit out of it, trying to
Yeah.
There
wrestle a
was,
fucking
like-
CGI shark is incredible.
many times where the people in the water was green screen, and I was like,
Yeah.
Mm.
what?
They were
Yes.
clearly actually scubaing somewhere,
But
Yeah.
and they
not-
just like green screened them into like a 4-foot deep lake.
It's very funny because at one point they're like supposed to be swimming, and the dude doesn't move his arms or legs for a solid like 20 seconds, and is just zooming forward.
Yeah.
Like he's fucking got a rocket pack on his back. Like
God,
this
movie
this
rules.
this definitely isn't like top tier sci-fi shark movie,
no.
but it's
I-
totally watchable. Like I've seen infinitely worse,
I
Let
think
the-
like the open water movies.
I didn't enjoy this movie as much as you guys, unsurprisingly. But I did appreciate that they at least wrote a really insane backstory for like what's happening.
Yes.
Because like there could just be sharks in the lake, right? And they just wrote this like insane backstory for Dolph that's like bordering on Lifetime. I think that maybe if the movie didn't star the cop, like I just didn't like her. I didn't like anything that happened with her, so I feel like
I felt like her, like if it was just her, Dolph, and like the kid, it's totally fine. I felt like everyone else is like just terrible. You could keep the fucking British Jaws hunting dude just for like a real stupid side character, but it was like the PhD student guy sucks. Her fucking coworker / boss sucks.
yeah.
Like everything with them, I was like, I don't give a fuck about this. Let's go back to this dude filming trying to catch this shark and just hitting on probably underage girls. I forget what Gareth, was that his name?
Yeah.
From Santa Jaws and Mississippi River Sharks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't recognize him at all.
He's being typecast.
Also in Miami Magba.
No, there you go.
Yeah. Totally fine. I mean, like, again, not great, totally passable. I would watch this again.
Look, the whole first half of the film is they think a bear swam out into a lake and attacked someone, so they won't let anyone onto the lake in case the bear goes back out there and attacks someone in the lake again.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Which is incredible.
It would have been amazing if that turned out to be the true story in the movie.
Right?
Like, it wasn't actually a shark the whole movie. You just find out it's a bear.
The sharks were there, but they were just chilling. The like ends, and you see the like bear's eyes peeking out from the woods.
It's just a bear with a fake shark fin on.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, do you want to dive into it?
Yeah. Pun intended. This movie starts just straight to credits in the title. And I was like,
That's how all movies
well,
should start.
this is going to go some kind of way.
Wasting no time. Dolph was trying to deliver a tight 90, all right?
I mean, admirable. So there's cops who are searching around in the woods at night, and then they bust into this trailer that's like kind of gross looking. There's like blood. They find a smatter of blood, a knife. There's like cages and critters all over the place. And then they also find a little girl who is alone. Somebody in a white van that we find out is Dolph, my best friend. That's why I call him that.
Mm-hmm.
He speeds away in a white van, and the cops just leave the little girl there by herself to go in pursuit of him, which
Sounds right.
great copying. Then Dolph they're in hot pursuit. He calls somebody and says that he'll meet them in 20 minutes, and so he's doing a bunch of driving maneuvers to lose the cops. But
In an Econo van, it's like
they're also
Econo
like
line.
Yeah, that's how you got to move illegal
Sharks.
animals. Yeah.
they're also like on a path in the woods. So like there's only so many places you could go. I feel like a huge fucking white van is pretty easy to spot.
I don't know. You could just drive out into the tree line and never be seen again.
Wow. He can't lose them. And he ends up going over and like crashing into the water. And he escapes. He comes swimming out of the water, and the cop's like, freeze, freeze. Then she just like shoots him in the arm, and I'm like, let him walk out of the water at least. Like, what's he gonna do to you? He almost just died in a water accident. Like, chill.
He's so unfazed by being shot too. Like he just stands there and takes it and is like, "All right, I surrendered." Jeez,
man.
Calm down.
Have you seen Dolph Lundgren? I believe that was real.
Yeah,
Right. It probably was.
It was like The Crow, but they shot him and he was just like, "The hell, guys."
I was just trying to swim.
I was going for a night swim. I'm not related to that van that just crashed into the water, but go off.
Yeah, that van drove over me. Okay.
I was the guy in the other car. Okay.
Yeah.
So he gets arrested. He's just like, oh man. So now it is 5 years later, and we see the little girl from then, 5 years later, of course, as you do. Her name's Carly. She is taking swimming lessons. And I like how they tried to set this up as being like a really profound moment at the end, and then it's just not at all. Because basically she's like taking swimming lessons and she's got to swim into the deep end, and they're like trying to get her to do it, but she's like scared. She doesn't want to. So the cop, whose name is Meredith, shows up and she's like trying to encourage her to do the deep end challenge or whatever the fuck, which is, swimming to the deep end of the pool. And Carly's like, nah, swimming is stupid, which...
Agreed.
I mean, not wrong. And then the cop says, there's two kinds of girls in this world. One that says, I can't, and girls who say, watch this. And I was like, oh my God. This is... Okay. But then Carly decides she's not going to do it anyway, so good for her. Don't let your mom pressure you, okay? Then we see a shot of Dolph being released from prison after 5 years. And Meredith is freaking out because she gets a call that's basically trying to set up visitation between Dolph and Carly. And she goes into like her chief's office and is like, I can't let her take him. Wait, I can't let him take her.
She's trying to get custody of Dolph.
Yeah.
I'm trying to adopt his dad. She's like, I can't let this happen. Like, he's got assault charges. He's got this, that, and the other thing. Like, I need help. And the chief is just kind of like, like, it's like, deal with it. Then there's a bunch of beach stuff happening to some dubstep. Because this movie came out in 2015, so we were ripe for the picking at this point. Then there's some underwater shots. I have to also point out that this is a landlocked lake, as we find out later. It's just a lake. And the shots that they show us underwater are definitely some kind of ocean, because it's like blue water and like sand. Even when they're showing like the part where Christopher is like panning, and I was like,
look, that's what, like, when you add, like, lakes are an illusion where on the outside it's just green and incomprehensible, but when you actually dive under, it's just blue and serene.
Super clear.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Then This is where we meet Nathan. There's an old couple in the woods who are retired, and they're retired because the man is wearing a bucket hat that says retired on the front of it. And
King.
I actually felt bad because this couple seemed very charming. They're going to the lake, and there's a sign that says, "Hey, watch out, there's bears." And the lady is like, "Christopher, did you see that sign that says look out for the bears?" And he's just like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Do you think that there's bears?" And he's like, "No." They have this whole like back and forth about how he wishes her friend was dead or something. And she's got to go back to the car to get her iPad, and he starts panning in, so he just like walks in the water and is like panning a little bit for gold. And
what a retirement.
Yeah. Just a little panning here and there.
Just live on a lake and pan this shitty little 2-foot deep collection of water trying to find gold.
Why not?
I just like the idea of someone just like digging for gold in a lake.
Yeah. I actually don't even know where they're supposed to be to know if that's like a thing.
Shark Bear Lake.
Shark Bear Lake. This is where I wrote, this is definitely not the lake underwater, but whatever. I'm confused about what happens with her because she seems like maybe she got lost, and so she starts running, and then she just like falls and hits her head. And I was like, what's going on here? And then by the time that she gets to the, like, I didn't hear him yell or anything, so I just was like confused about what spurred this. But by the time she gets to the water, her husband is dead, and it's very sad. The cops come.
This scene playing out is like the opposite of sad, though, because he's like laying face down in 2 inches of water, and she rolls him over, and he doesn't have an arm, and this lady's letting out the most absurd like wails I've ever heard.
Yeah. She's like, wow. She's like Waluigi.
Yeah.
Oh, her Wario died. Yeah, so it's like the whole thing is very confusing to me. So the cops show up, and they're like, obviously this was a bear. Because again,
clearly
I don't really know how like the shark could have got up there, but whatever. I don't have a PhD in sharks, so what do I know? They basically are just like, yeah, it's a bear, and Meredith is like suspicious, right? And she's like, what? Excuse me. She's like, what kind of bear? And the cop says, a big one. And I was like, good one. Then for some reason Meredith is like saying that she thinks maybe it was a homicide, and I was like, this is all over the place at this point for a shark movie.
It's a bear homicide.
Bear-micide. Bomicide. Bear. I don't know.
You almost had it.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Dolph, having been released from prison, pulls up to his lake house, and he's got a knife and a steak. And I was really confused about, again, what was happening in the scene, because he goes, first of all, I didn't know it was his house. He goes inside his house, and there's like 2 goons waiting there, talking to him. Excuse me, I'm like in the throes of becoming sick, so there's a lot of
SIQQ sick?
Yeah.
She's skateboarding right now.
I like the fact that his house has been not lived in for 5 years. It seems relatively fine.
Yeah, it's his maid stayed on when he went to prison, I guess. Okay, so he goes inside his house. There's 2 goons there, and he just starts cooking up his steak. And he's like talking to the guys, and I'm getting the gist that there was like somebody he used to work for, and they're like, hey, like you owe him something, or like we find out later what's going on. But in this scene, it's very confusing, and he's essentially just like, "Fuck you guys, get out of my house. I only have one steak. Like I'm not sharing." And then he fights them,
The
and they leave.
slowest fight scene in the
Oh
world.
man, it's terrible.
So
And
that
then
one dude like charges at him and like goes to throw this really slow punch, and Dolph like easily ducks under and hooks his arm and like very gently taps his head onto the kitchen counter. It's like, what is happening here?
the guy was like, "I'm so scared. Please don't hurt me."
Yeah.
Even in the stunts. And then I do have to point out that he doesn't season that steak at all. He just puts it right in the pan and then starts eating it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's just meat.
he's making TikTok videos that he's hoping will get dunked on so he gets famous.
Oh, gross.
Maybe he seasoned that steak 5 years ago, and he's been letting the seasoning like
Oh, it's like
soak
a
into it.
It's super
it's like a
dry-aged.
long marinade.
Yeah,
Gotcha. That would have been actually so funny if he just like pulled out a baggie that had like a marinated steak in it
Yeah.
instead of just like. He seems to like it. It's fine. He doesn't have time to enjoy meals. He just needs protein to like keep his muscles going. I get
You
it.
don't get that big without just eating. It's like when like The Rock just eats a fucking plain whole chicken.
Ew.
alive.
So gross.
Yeah, feathers and all. I think
Gross.
Hugh Jackman keeps that Wolverine physique.
Yeah. He just like never mind.
Only eats
So-
eggs.
Well, I was thinking he just like squeezes the chicken so the eggs pop right into his mouth,
Mhm.
and then he just eats the chicken also. Um,
What's
Man,
happening?
I don't know.
You thinking
I was
about
trying to-
eating
Completely
chicken?
lost your train of thought.
yeah,
Too focused
Alright.
on eggs and
on Hugh
eating live
Jackman
chickens.
guzzling some eggs down.
What if they
okay.
like squeeze the chicken where the eggs are like just barely like prairie dogging, and then they eat the chicken whole, so it's like everything all at once.
Ew.
I bet that's what he does.
Yeah, or maybe he does like a turducken, but all live. Okay. And then they also have the eggs in them. That's gross. Okay, let's move on.
Yeah.
So, um,
No, we gotta going back to this. It's like a human centipede situation.
but
So it's like
but
the
different
chicken
kinds of birds.
Chicken at the front, and then turkey, and then duck, and the
Yes.
chicken's laying eggs into the turkey, and it's
And-
laying its eggs into the duck.
And then and then the duck back into the chicken. It's a human
Ouroboros.
circlepede. Yeah, there you go. We figured it out.
Ouroboros.
We figured it out.
Someone's gonna steal
That's
that
so
idea
sad.
for a movie.
Hugh Jackman's fucked up.
You. Yeah, how
What a
could he do
sick
something
mind.
like that? I know, gross. All right. Not related at all. Meredith and Carly go out to eat, and
No eggs. No
Please,
whole
no.
chickens.
no, just regular restaurant food.
Not getting
And-
the protein.
Not Hugh Jackman's restaurant where it's a horror show apparently. I what if somebody leaked that to the press and everyone thought it was real and that was like a scandal?
I'm going to.
Okay, good.
I'm emailing TMZ right now.
All right, great.
This is Army Hammer moment.
Oh my god. Ew. I didn't not to go very far off, but I listened to a podcast recently that was like covering like all of that stuff, and I knew he was like gross, but I didn't really look into like the extent of it, and holy shit. What is wrong with people?
A
Yeah,
lot.
I don't know the depths of it. Just like surface details, but sounds
Well,
like a real
and-
piece of shit just from that.
Yeah, so
I
like
can't imagine.
the podcast I was listening to was interviewing, I don't even remember her name, unfortunately, but she was like basically gave them everything, like the text messages between them and a bunch of stuff like that, and it's just like so gross. Anyway, yeah. Meredith and Carly go out to eat. They're at the restaurant, and Carly asks about the bear. Everyone's fucking obsessed with this bear that doesn't exist. Let the bear do its thing, okay? Just let it be.
I'm
You're just vibing.
surprised. I'm surprised this movie didn't have like a bear killed, and then everyone being like, "All right, everything's good," and then someone else.
They
getting it.
did.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they did.
Oh,
Yeah.
I must have missed that.
They don't show it,
Nathan,
though.
edit that out.
Yeah.
But they're like, they have a whole press conference at the lake, and people are going into it, and they're like, "Ladies and gentlemen, we got the bear. Everyone's safe now."
Oh, I remember that, but for some reason never mind. Okay, I remember that now. For some reason in my mind, I thought they caught like a shark, and that was what it was. Yeah, I think I've seen too many of these movies at this point that now they've all blurred together of like shitty police and mayoral work. Where like,
I mean, to be fair, I feel like that somehow ends up being like 80% of the movies that we cover. There's always some like sheriff or mayor that just doesn't know how to do their job.
It's a tried and true trope when it comes to murderous animal films.
Yeah. So Carly is asking about like the bear and if it was a bear and this and the other thing. Then some guy at the bar is like overhearing and starts asking about the bear attack, and Carly's being a little bit graphic about it, and so Meredith is just like, "Go wash your hands for dinner," or whatever. So she leaves, and then the guy who, she also calls a 9-year-old sexist. Well, the guy at the bar, I just called him PhD. So he is basically telling her all of these facts that he knows about bears, and then he says, about like bear attacks and how like you're more likely to be killed by a dog than a bear, which I don't know if that's true. But
I mean, I would say it probably is, and just the general amount of dogs there are compared to bears.
Yeah, much.
That's like being
much
like,
easier to encounter a dog than a bear.
You're more likely to be killed by a person than a shark. Like, yeah, no shit.
Well, yeah. And so he's basically just like, yeah, so like it could have been a bear, like for sure it could have been. And then he's just like, I have a PhD, but that's not why I know the bear stuff. It's the internet. All right.
That is such a douchebag.
Yeah. And they just kind of like, I don't know, banter a little bit. Meredith, I guess that Meredith and Carly live with her mom. So they go back to the house, and Meredith's mom is asking about the bear. It's literally just like 15 minutes straight about people not talking about this fucking bear that didn't do anything. And then she's basically just like telling her mom how she's worried that Dolph is going to try and like come back into Carly's life or whatever. Then there's a bonfire bikini party, and a couple breaks off from the party to go to the beach. They try and start a fire, but the guy cuts himself trying to start it, and she's like, haha, sorry, I'm such a distraction, let's make out. So they go into the water, as they always do in these kinds of movies, and start making out, and then he just like very abruptly gets pulled into the water, and there's a bunch of CGI blood water happening.
Nothing makes me want to make out more than gross lake water.
After cutting yourself trying to make a fire. Let me just get this gross lake water in my open wound. Sounds great.
Getting all horned up on the gross lake water. It's an aphrodisiac.
Horned. Stupid. Okay, it took me a minute to realize that this is the PhD. I thought this was just some random guy that decided he was going to go scuba diving, and I was like, they're really switching between random people a lot. It's PhD. He goes scuba diving. I don't know why. He's like teaches oceanography or something, and he is swimming around in the water.
There's nothing like I feel like if somebody's entire like field of study / personality is like shit in the ocean, a lake has to be so fucking boring.
Yeah, and because he says that he's there because of maybe it's the trout sex. And like what he's talking about, I think, is studying migrational, like not migrational. Well, I think that some fish do migrate to have babies, but like he's talking about that, and he's just like, I'm here writing a paper, and I was like, why? I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, I would say nothing's really migrating in a lake that they say is not connected to anything, like not connected to a river or anything.
Right. So I don't know. And so for whatever reason, he is scuba diving in what is clearly the open ocean, but it's fine. It's this lake. And they do a jump scare a bunch of times where there's like a shadow looming over him. But then when he looks, it's just a boat. They do it like 4 times. And he ends up finding some boxers. Ew. And then something that startles him that we don't see. Then it cuts to a bunch of hunters in the woods who are hunting the bear. And they're just like, this is why it's confusing, because they're just like, I'm gonna nab me that bear. And then the one guy just like raises his gun, and when the sound of the gun firing goes off, it just immediately changes scenes to the PhD guy coming to the police station with a cooler. So like they don't, that's the only reason that you know they caught a bear, is because then the cop says they do. And I was like, okay.
He's gonna eat the bear. He's bringing in bear meat in the cooler.
Yeah. No CGI bears were harmed because there were no CGI bears. So he brings in the cooler and shows it to Meredith, and she's like, oh my gosh. Then it switches to 2 girls who are, I always get this wrong. Is this parasailing?
I think so.
Okay.
Sure.
They are strapped to a like
Gundam.
Yeah. I don't know why. I should always expect you to say Gundam, and I never do. They're flying.
It's way
around
funnier
on
than a boat.
Gundam.
They're strapped to a Gundam for some reason.
They really should have brought in the Gundams to take care of these sharks. There would have been no casualties.
Or the shark. I mean, there are 3 bull sharks. They could probably take down a Gundam.
I bet they'd pilot the Gundam.
Yeah. What if they got in the Gundam and then we're fucked? They just take over the world.
Sharks in a Gundam. I want that movie.
New shirt idea: shark piloting a Gundam that is skateboarding.
Yes.
Yes.
That's a tall order.
I believe in you.
Considering as I do not know how to draw a Gundam, but we'll figure it out. I think Nathan should take this one, actually.
Yeah, I'll do
it. Okay. There's 2 girls doing what I assume is parasailing, which is flying around in the sky in their Gundam. And they're at the lake beach. There's like people doing beach stuff again. There's like a lifeguard there. I was like, oh, okay. Never seen that before. And this is where the chief of police is giving the press conference about how they caught the bear. Everything's fine. Nothing to worry about. Go about your day.
NBD.
Meanwhile, we still don't know what the PhD guy showed her in the cooler, but it was enough for them to tear ass down to the lake. And Meredith and PhD run down to the press conference and are like, get out of the water, get out of the water. It's not safe, get out of the water. And he's like, what are you talking about? Like, we got the bear. And she's like, it's not the bear. And he's like, what are you talking about? And people start screaming and stuff. One of the girls that's parasailing just very casually gets her foot bitten off.
It rules.
They just like pull up, and she's just like hanging there like normal with just fake CG blood just like pissing out of her leg.
Fakest, like, because they've CG'd over her foot the blood, and it just looked ridiculous.
So good.
And then everyone starts like screaming and running out of the water and stuff, and the police chief is like, oops. And so they go back to the police station, and we see that inside the cooler is just an arm. And this is when the PhD guy says, you guessed it, it's a bull shark. Then we just get this like kind of like little rundown about bull sharks, which we all know because we're bull shark PhDs, you know?
Yeah, we know all this.
And but the
You
thing
ain't
that
telling me
they're
nothing, guy.
yeah, you can't tell me a single thing I don't know about bull sharks. But the thing that's confusing about this situation is, you know, he does the whole spiel about how bull sharks can survive in salt and freshwater. But the thing that's confusing here is that, as we said, this is when we find out that the lake that they're on has no estuaries or leads to the ocean. It's completely just isolated. And so they're like, how did the shark get there? And then Meredith is like, somebody put it there. Like,
Bum bum.
they're trying so hard to make Dolph seem like a bad guy, but he didn't. I mean, okay, exotic animal trafficking and whatnot is not good at all. But like, he didn't put the sharks in the lake, right? Like, he was trying to sell them to somebody, and then, well, at this point, it was only one shark, and then the cops crashed him into the lake, where they just left his van in there, where people swim, and here we are. Like, this isn't technically his fault to me. You know what I'm saying? Anyway.
I sent you guys my shirt design.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
Nailed it.
I unironically think that the shark is really cute. I don't know what's going on with the Gundam. I like that you gave him a sword.
I looked up Gundam because I wasn't exactly sure if I could remember like what they look like, and the one I saw was holding a big shield and like a sword. So I just gave it a sword.
It's great. I love it. Print it up.
Make it so.
Just gonna put it on a shirt and just like scribbled IHYS on it.
Perfect. I love it. Oh, jeez. Okay. Meredith says somebody put it there. This is when Dolph comes to Meredith's house to try and see Carly, but he doesn't get to. Then there's like some news reports about how they are closing all of the beaches because the shark bit a girl's foot off and killed Christopher. R.I.P. Christopher. Dolph's boss guy comes, and it is basically like, I paid you for that shark. What is that guy doing with a bull shark? Like, bull sharks don't seem like an exotic animal the way that apparently he had like a tiger or a lion also or something, and like pythons and shit. And then like bull shark seems kind of a dime a dozen to me. Maybe he was gonna eat it.
Yeah, he's gonna just leave it for 5 years.
I mean, it's exotic in like that it's a weird animal to own, but yeah, I don't like get a cooler shark.
Right? Like,
get a tiger shark.
If you need something for your aquarium, I feel like a tiger shark, a hammerhead,
Get an
like
electric eel. That seems way cooler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you could put people in it if they're like trying to like shirk over your business. You can be like, all right, bring out the tank, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Toss him in.
He's like, maybe just like dip a pinky in there, get a little shock. There's more where that came from. So he basically is like, I paid for that shark. I want what's mine. I don't care that it's been 5 years. You have to deliver and you have to go get the shark. And if you don't, I'm going to fucking kill your kid. He doesn't say that, but he does.
Bit of an overreaction, in my opinion.
I agree. Who knows how old the shark is? Like, who wants a senior shark? I don't know. This is when we're introduced to Gareth from the BBC, and he has come to catch the shark for TV purposes. And Meredith is mad about it. She's like, to be fair, this guy is kind of a douchebag, right? He's just like, I don't know, a TV personality or whatever, but she calls him like an ass clown or something. She's like very hard on him after meeting him for a moment.
He
And
does
she's like
seem
really pissed off about it.
pretty annoying.
Yeah, but like that she's like, people died. This isn't a game. I'm like, well, he came to catch the shark for TV, right? And so the chief is just like, listen, we don't know. We are just cops. Like, we don't know how to deal with a shark. This guy does. Like, he's gonna let him do his little TV thing, and he's just gonna get rid of the shark, and it'll be fine. And she's like, okay, but like, we need to get rid of the shark now. And he's like, okay, yeah, fair. So then, and then she's like, hey, like, I need you to help me get a restraining order against Dolph because I don't want him around Carly. And the chief is basically just like, would you shut the fuck up about that? Like, I literally don't care. Just move on. And she's like, she's like, fine.
I like their relationship is very funny because it's like
she calls him by his first name too.
She's like a blatantly like flirty with him, but also like seems wildly uninterested at the same time. And then like spoiler, gets eaten.
Oh no, this was the police chief, not the PhD guy.
Oh, well, I thought we were talking about the PhD guy.
No,
like, I don't know,
but
for
yeah,
whatever reason,
yeah.
I thought this was when they were on their date.
No, this was still like she was asking for a.
Sorry, I'm doing graphic design over here.
Yeah, listen,
It's very important.
You don't gotta tell me twice. This was the police chief. There's like, she also calls him by his first name, and he's like, you should call me chief. Like, you're the only person that calls me Lewis or whatever the fuck his name is. There's like no backstory or reason as to like why their relationship is to the effect where she feels like she can just bust into his office and tell him what to do, but whatever. So this is when this whole scene to me was extremely weird. Meredith goes to Dolph's house and he doesn't answer the door, so she just like fucking goes inside and is like clearing the house like with her gun and stuff. And I was like, you can't just like walk into his house. He didn't do anything. You know what I mean?
There's like a lot of crimes being committed by this cop in this movie.
Yeah. So then
Very
she's like,
cop-like.
Well, yeah,
looking
fair.
around and like he is outside like tending to his boat while she's inside like looking at his house and stuff. And then he sees a picture that Carly drew him when she was little and is like, oh man. Then she snoops around his shed and finds, I had no idea what this was. It's essentially like it looks like a pin, like a long pin. And then she ends up looking it up online, and it turns out that it is a piece to a underwater assault rifle. Wow.
Is that a thing?
Probably.
I'm a little, I don't.
I mean, we love guns so much. Surely we've created an underwater one, right?
Oh,
Well-
yeah, apparently in the 70s, people started trying to create them, so I'm assuming there's got to be one.
Might not be very good, but I'm sure it's out
The
there.
APS underwater assault rifle. It is an underwater firearm designed by the Soviet Union in the early 1970s. So there's definitely got to be, like, actual, working ones at this point.
Yeah.
Nothing is ever going to be as cool as the dude, and I think, was it Bait 3D, where he shoots the shotgun underwater at the shark and it explodes? I'm sure that's happened in more than one of these shark movies, but that's the one I very specifically remember.
Well, that's what always confuses me about guns too, is because like at one point she's got just like a regular handgun that she drops to the bottom of the lake that she then swims down and gets and then also shoots it underwater. And I was like, there's no way that this is correct, right? Like,
I don't know.
just like a regular Glock.
I mean, I assume like I assume they would fire underwater. I don't know what like the resistance of the water would be.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it's
Let's
one of those
see.
things. It seems like it would have to be a lot closer to you than it would normally if you were like out of the water. But I feel like that's a thing that like I think MythBusters may have done an episode on that or something.
Yeah, they tried to fire a assault rifle, at least through the surface of the water, and it it like loses effectiveness after like
Like a couple
5 or
feet or
10
something.
feet
Yeah.
or something. Yeah.
Yeah, this says, will a Glock shoot underwater? Yes, but after a few feet, the gun will be severely damaged. It'll fire. Barrel and chamber are not designed for the pressure generated by the barrel being blocked by water. Well, okay. Learn something new every day. I just always assumed they didn't, and it was just like a really bad trope in movies where people are constantly getting their guns all wet and then shooting them. Okay, what was happening here? The underwater assault rifle. Then there's just like a little bit of a clip of Gareth like interviewing a girl who's scared about the shark or whatever, and he calls the sharks nature's serial killer. Interesting. So they showed this like clip of the TV to the police chief, and he's just like, okay, well, can we like catch the shark now? And they're like, okay. So this is maybe, I was gonna say this is maybe the wackiest part of the movie, but I don't know. They basically go to catch the shark. Gareth puts some chum in the water, and then like it cuts in between, right? So Meredith at this point is going to ask the PhD guy about if a shark could live undetected in the lake for 5 years, which like the shark can do whatever it wants, okay? Sure, it can live undetected for 5 years. And
I feel like the giant Gundam suit would be a sign, but
well, it's a pretty deep lake in the middle.
hey, if Nessie's
So.
been hidden for this long, a shark can stay around.
The Gundams can
Makes sense.
like sit down though, so it's just like in the fetal position
It's just like
in the water while it's
cross-legged
sleeping.
underwater.
Yeah, exactly. So the PhD guy is basically just like, yeah, I mean, I guess like there's plenty of water and stuff. Like, yeah, there's really no reason for the shark to start attacking people now, but whatever. Then back at the water, they see an amazing CG shark fin, and Gareth says, "Oh, it's probably an 8-footer." Then he turns to the TV camera and says, "It's a 13-footer for sure." And I was like, "Oh, wow, man, am I right?" So Gareth goes into the water with a harpoon. I don't know what he thinks he's doing here, and this is when it's like him with the harpoon and a guy with a camera scuba diving for real, but they're green screened onto this water. And I'm so confused about the need for this.
It's incredible. Every movie should just CGI scuba divers because they look extremely ridiculous.
I had to like stare at it for a minute, and I was like, is this green screen? So it's like them green screened with the water, and then the shark CG'd in the distance, and I was like, what am I looking at right here?
Does it cost that much to like rent a scuba suit? Because like they were clearly at a lake.
Yeah, I don't.
Like,
it's just another one of those
filming
things.
at a lake.
It's another thing too, where it's just like all of the underwater footage is so like crystal clear water and like blatantly like beach sand and shit, and so,
right.
And like fine, I could suspend my disbelief and say this is a lake, but it's so blatantly not a lake.
Well, and the thing that gets me too is that like I could understand that some of the beaches would look like this if it was a lake that like fed into the ocean, but this movie specifically wrote it to not be.
Right.
So I'm like, there's no reason it would look like this.
You got some explaining to do, Dolph.
They've got like the goddamn Great Barrier Reef, like here.
Okay. They're in the water, and I this was confusing to me in the very beginning. because this is the twist of the movie that was really shocking, is that they see the shark in the distance a little bit, and they're like swimming, and then all of a sudden Gareth gets bit in the leg by a shark, and I was like, how could the shark juke you that fast? Like, it was in front of you. And this is where we find out that there's multiple sharks.
Plot twist. Dear God.
Yeah. And this scene goes on for kind of a while where the sharks are like eating at these guys, and the police chief is like watching them get eaten through the camera, and then he starts just like randomly shooting his gun into the water. And they get eaten. And Meredith and the PhD guy then watch the attack footage from earlier, and the police chief is like kind of freaking out a little bit, and then he says that he's going to put a bounty on the sharks so that any fishermen can go in the lake and try and catch the shark. And I was like, seems like a bad idea. If you hired somebody who was like known for catching sharks, he gets eaten, and then you're just gonna let like Bubba from up the street come down and on his jet ski and like try and catch the shark, and you're like encouraging it. Seems like a bad idea, but I don't know.
It's like a really cool jet ski though.
That jet ski part literally sent me. It was okay. We're almost there pretty much. So this is where we find out that there's 3 sharks. So the original bull shark, when she went into the water, she was preggo, and she popped out 2 pups. And so now they're just all chilling together, swimming around in the lake. And the PhD asks Meredith if she wants to go get a drink, and she's like, sure. So they're sitting at the bar, and they have this really long conversation that essentially boils down to Meredith saying that she thinks that the sharks are evil. She looked in the shark's eye and she could tell. And then PhD is essentially just like, sharks are literally just doing what they were put on this earth to do, which is to protect their babies and eat food.
Vibe. Right?
Like, the earth is scary. It's just nature. And I'm like, you are the smartest. I know that you have a PhD, but you have street smarts too, because that is so true. The earth is terrifying. Everything that can happen to you is so scary.
He called Earth a bad neighborhood.
He sure did. And
Not
you know what?
Wrong.
Yeah. Not wrong.
The worst neighborhood.
Yeah.
Very bad. So Carly goes into Meredith's room while Grandma's taking a little nappy nap, and gets the file that Meredith has on Dolph and takes his address. So she's just gonna ride her bike over to his house while Grandma walks the dog, whose name is Oliver, and he was very cute. This is maybe the dumbest part of the movie, where she is walking Oliver. She's also yelling at him because she's saying heel. And he's like, I have to take a shit. Like, can you move on? And so she's just like walking the dog like all normal. And then there's like some stupid kids there with a stick. And the kid like throws a stick in the water. And the dog goes to go after it. And we don't ever see the dog again. So if they're implying that the dog died, I am upset about that.
Yeah, I'm
just
assuming
gonna
the dog got eaten.
I'm just going to choose to believe that the dog's fine.
Maybe the dog turned into a shark, and that's why there's 3 of them now.
Could be.
The dog's best friends with the shark now.
Could be.
And the shark is like, hey, get out of here.
Yeah. Come get in the cockpit with me. There's room for a shark and a dog in a Gundam cockpit, I'm pretty sure.
Just makes sense.
Yeah. The dog becomes the shark's like familiar. So dog goes after the stick. And then her mom, Grandma, I don't know why you would ever do this, because Oliver is not a small dog. He's like a normal sized dog who could go in the water or whatever. And the grandma gets in the water and like swims after the dog. I was like, what is going through your fucking head, you idiot?
I would do that.
So basically, like, when Meredith gets home, she like goes up into her room and looks out the window and just sees her mom swimming in the middle of the lake. And I was like, what in the fuck is happening here? So Meredith like runs out of her house with a gun. PhD's there too, because he had dropped her off or whatever after their not date, where she was like trying to get him to talk about fish sex or whatever. So yeah, she was totally being like very hot and cold with him over like what was going on here. And Meredith runs to the lake and shoots the shark like 20 times and kills it. And Grandma's
Could've
fine.
just used one.
Right, Grandma's fine. The shark is also like swam so fast, I guess, that it's like up on the shore, dead. And I was like, I don't know if it would care about this grandma this much if it was getting shot at, but whatever. This is when they finally realize it's like nighttime now. This is when they finally realize that Carrie is not in the house. Some real great parenting there. And so meanwhile, Carrie has ridden her little bike to Dolph's house. She goes inside and looks around. He's not there. She also finds the picture that she drew. And I was like, yeah, this is really sweet that he kept this picture, but also he hasn't lived there for 5 years, so it's not like he could have thrown it away, if you know what I'm saying. Meredith immediately jumps to the conclusion that Dolph has kidnapped Carly, and she puts out an APB on him to get him arrested. I was like, okay. Okay. I like how this movie, for some reason, the whole like message of it is that like just because you did something bad doesn't mean you're a bad guy. I like love that because it's so stupid. It's a shark movie. There's some cop that goes to Dolph's house and is like looking around, but like neither of them are there. Dolph pulls up to his house, somehow doesn't see that there's a cop car there and just is like going about his business and goes to get on his boat. Then this cop shows up and is like, put your hands up, you're under arrest for kidnapping. And he's like, what are you talking about? And then Carly jumps out of the boat and says, hey, don't hurt my dad. And then Dolph uses this opportunity to punch the cop into the water and he speeds away on his boat with his daughter. They have this like tender moment where they like hug and he's like, how did you find me? And she's like, oh, I stole your address. Like, don't be mad. And he's like, no, I'm not mad. Like, I love you, whatever. And then he's like, we have to get you home. And so I'm like, if you didn't kidnap your daughter, why did you just punch out that cop and kidnap her? Like, you did effectively just kidnap her at this point.
He was a cop. He deserved it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair. Carly also asks if he likes tacos, and he said, hell yeah, bitch, I love tacos. So they're gonna get tacos.
Good dad.
Meredith, yeah, honestly. Meredith and the PhD guy are going to take his boat out in the water to try and find Dolph and Carly. And they at some point they like leave the marina and then they're just floating around in the dark, foggy, open water area. And I was like, this seems like a really bad idea. And he's like, what are we doing? And she's like, well, if we use the speedboat motor, he's gonna hear us coming. And I was like, okay, but if you don't hear him or hear his boat, then he's probably not there. She just fucking sucks. She's bad at being a cop.
Well, she's not boat cop. She's a land cop, so like she doesn't know.
She knows how to
different specialties.
She knows how to drive. She's always. I love how she's always like insisting to the PhD guy that she drives. She's like, "Give me the keys to your car. I'm driving. Give me the keys to your boat. I'm driving." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, we get it."
Look, I'm just saying on Letterboxd, there's nothing coming up for boat cop, so boat cop trademark I suffer.
All right. There you go. But wait, didn't we watch a movie where that isn't that like essentially the Coast Guard is boat cops?
I mean, sure, but I mean, if there's not a movie called it, that's still.
Yeah.
How about Speedboat Cop?
Look, there's got to be sequels. Shut up! Quit giving away our ideas.
Boat Cop, Speedboat Cop.
There's a band called Boat Cop though, on Bandcamp.
That's cool. I like it.
Let's see what genres we got going here.
Unless it's a bunch of cops singing about boats.
Metal, black metal, country, thrash metal. I am
oh my.
Concerned.
Yeah.
Let's see. Come on. I don't need your fucking long ass intro, stupid black metal bands. Nah, I'm out. No, thank you. Sorry, Boat Cop.
I was gonna say, I guess my real question is, are they for or against cops?
I can't. Well, there's an upside down flag on their cassette tape,
Okay.
so, but I don't know if that's like the label or them.
Yeah. Well.
I think all of their songs might be about like boat stuff, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I assumed.
Oh
Boat
no,
stuff,
they might be doing. They
boat
might do a cover of Ramblin' Man.
Oh no.
Black metal country, just don't. Please
Yeah,
don't.
about that.
The closest is Panopticon. It's the closest I will accept.
All right.
Unless Orville Peck wants to write like a black metal album, then I'm on board.
I'd listen to that.
Okay, so they're floating in the middle of the darkness, and randomly, randomly, a jet ski just comes hurtling out of nowhere and slams into the back of their boat. I have so many questions, and it causes a fire. I have so many questions. Why?
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't remember if they ever say whose jet ski it is. Was somebody riding it?
Yeah, they like when they're leaving the marina, they run into this guy that basically is just like, "I'm gonna catch a shark."
Yeah.
But then it's like not very. They have like one conversation, then all of a sudden he's literally careening into their boat. He's like, "Ah!" And then like they crash, and I was like, "What happened?" Like, so then he's like in the water flailing around. PhD also goes over the side of the boat, and he's trying to save the jet ski guy, but the shark comes and gets jet ski guy. So we never find out why this has happened. But essentially, there's like this long drawn out thing where they're being like chased by the shark or whatever, but PhD is safe. He gets on the boat, but then they find out that the boat engine doesn't work anymore. And also the boat is filling with water. So she tries to call for help, but there's no help, right? And essentially we just watch this entire scene as like the boat slowly sinks, and it gets to the point where they're just holding onto a life raft or a life preserver thing. And they're just like chilling in the water for a long time without getting attacked by a shark at all. And I was like, I don't know. It seems.
I need to know how big this lake is, because it feels like they make it seem like they are swimming on this life raft for hours before, like, without ever seeing any sort of land.
I know.
Right.
It's very weird.
I mean, it's big enough for them to go parasailing, I guess.
Yeah.
This is in Mississippi. I wonder what the biggest lake in Mississippi is.
10 feet across.
They called this Alpine Lake, but I didn't bother to look up if it was real or not.
I only know it was shot in Mississippi because apparently a bunch of shit in it got changed after they decided to shoot there.
Weird.
Well, apparently Mississippi has... Oh, wait, no, never mind. I don't know how to read.
508 lakes.
I thought it said this is like one of, like, it was in some lake was in like the 10 biggest lakes in the US, but it's actually just the 10 biggest lakes in Mississippi. I'm not reading that.
Oh.
Just tell me what, like, just show me some sizes.
Okay.
I mean, I don't necessarily know what like 98,000 acres actually would like compute to,
It's a lot.
but it seems like a lot.
Yeah, I don't know anything about measures of distance. They're like, there it is, 2 feet in front of you, and I'm like, I don't know what that means. Okay, the boat eventually sinks. They're on a life raft. After a while, they are again green screen floating on a raft in the water, and then the shark comes sneaking up behind them. They're basically just like pointing one direction, like, do you hear that? And then it just shows the shark like sneaking back and forth behind them.
Their biggest lake would be almost 250 miles.
I don't know what that means.
Big fucking lake.
Yeah, 250 miles of a lake.
Well,
So even driving the speed limit, it would be like 5
Katie's
hours.
totally
or some shit.
unimpressed. 250 miles, huh?
Katie's like, I've
Okay,
seen
I
the
guess.
ocean. The ocean's definitely bigger than that.
I mean, probably.
Probably.
Okay. The snark is sneaking around. The shark is sneaking around behind them, and then it just like goes and like swims between them, and they start screaming and stuff. And PhD is just sort of like kicking at the shark and like hitting it with a stick, and it's kind of like keeping it at bay for some reason. And then this is when Meredith has dropped her gun to the bottom of the lake, and she swims down. And the shot is very obviously somebody reaching down into like a fish tank with like fake like plants and like retrieving the gun. It's like very clear.
I'm pretty sure that was real footage from a lake.
Probably. Then she comes back up and shoots the shark, and she's killed a second shark. And they're like, "Whoo, boy, that was close. PhD, I'm so glad you're alive." And then all of a sudden, the third shark comes and just like eats him for real. And I was like, "Damn, sucks." Then it starts coming towards her, but at the very last minute, she gets pulled out of the water by Dolph. Meredith and Carly are reunited, and Carly says like, "Sorry, it was my fault. Like, I should have told you I went to his house." Meredith is like, "Oh, what? Man, maybe I misjudged you." And Dolph and her kind of argue a little bit, and then because she thinks that he's like trying to take Carly away, and he's like, "No, I love her so much, I wouldn't take her from you. I'm thankful, like you're the best thing that ever happened to her." And he's just like really actually a really nice guy. He just was like caught up in some schemes. You know how that, schemes happen. And so he's like,
do they ever like give an explanation as to how he got, like, I really expected it to be like, oh, I got like blackmailed into doing this shit, or was he just a criminal that was like, this was easy money?
I think it was easy money, because like there's literally only one scene where they talk about him being a criminal, and she does say assault. There's like 2 assault cases, which could be like getting in a fight at a bar, or like pushing somebody. Like it doesn't mean that he's like a domestic abuser or something. There's like different levels to assault. Then she says the thing about the exotic animal trafficking, and then she like looks through pictures of like the animals that he had at the house. And like, to be fair, yeah, if you have a daughter that's like 5, you probably shouldn't be living in a trailer with a fucking python
or a bull shark.
You know what I mean? But like, or a bull shark, or they had a bear, they had some
python shark.
Yeah, they had a
trademark. Hype yourself for python shark. We got a lot of movies to make. We should probably get started on these.
Yeah, right. So, but yeah, they don't really, I don't know. They don't try very hard to convince me that he was like, it's not like he's out murdering or something, I don't know, whatever.
I couldn't remember if they, like, I felt like the entire movie I was going to be like, there's going to be some sort of backstory as to why he was doing this that's going to make him, like, not a bad guy, and I couldn't remember if they did. I watched this at work, so I 100% did not pay the closest attention.
I mean, not really. And like the only reason that he's out in the boat now, like that guy that he used to work for, remember, was like, "Hey, if you don't go catch the shark for me, I'm gonna like get your daughter," or whatever. But like he never actually went after the shark. Like the only reason he's in the boat now is because the cop showed up to arrest him and he sped off or whatever. So like there's not really anything going on with him. And so they basically like have a heart-to-heart or whatever. He's like, "I want to be in her life, but you're her mom. Like you can keep her," or whatever. Then the shark, the last remaining shark, rams into the boat. There's a scene where she goes and looks down in the cabin, and there's CG water splurting into the cabin, and it looks very funny. Then Carly, of course, falls into the water. I don't know how she gets so far away from the boat. She gets like rocket launched into the water. Dolph, of course, jumps in after her, and he gets to her and is like, "You have to swim. You have to swim back to the house." And like, you'd think that they would pull this all back around to the beginning when she didn't want to do swim lessons, and her mom was like, "You have to be a girl that says 'watch me' or whatever the fuck." And then she has to really like pull herself together to like swim away from the shark, but that doesn't happen at all. It's just like he's like, "Swim back to the boat," and then they just cut to like her getting up on the boat while he's just like tapping the shark away from him or whatever. And I was like, great.
Thrilling. Amazing.
He's literally like kicking and wrestling with the shark or whatever. It's
It's so funny because it's like 98% of him pretending to wrestle a CGI shark, but there's one shot specifically where you could tell they gave him something physical to like hold underwater, and it looks insane.
It is something.
It's also one of those things where it's like, anytime they do this shit where someone's like punching a shark, I'm like, all you're doing is hitting the water and your hand is slowing down so quickly. Like, right? I know that you're supposed to punch a shark like in the nose if it's attacking you, but it's like, have you ever tried to move underwater?
Yeah. Like, literally, yeah. You're not, unless you're literally Dolph Lundgren or Jean-Claude Van Damme or somebody like that, you're not punching that shark, actually. You
gotta punch it with that rocket elbow, like Pacific Rim.
Yeah. Fair. Good thing.
Only way.
I don't know what you do if the shark is also in a Gundam. I think you're kind of screwed at that point, but...
It's going to be a lot harder to punch it in the nose.
Look, if I ever see a Gundam in real life, I'm killing myself because it's over.
We're done.
They have a life-size one in Japan that we went to, and it's actually not as big as you'd think. But
yeah, but
I get where you're coming from.
Is it life-sized in just that they built something like that, or is it like to scale of what it should be in like?
It's to scale. So it's like,
because I feel like anytime you see that kind of shit in any of those movies, they're like skyscraper size.
I think that whatever the Gundams were, whatever they called them in Pacific Rim, were like fucking huge because they could like run in the ocean. But actual Gundams are made for like going in space, so they're just like, they're taller than buildings, but they're not like huge.
I guess I'm thinking more like whatever the Power Rangers things were called, that like,
the Zoids,
yeah, and like
Zords.
Zord, like when you like combine them, so I guess it would be technically like 6 Gundams stacked together or something.
Yeah, Zoids is another Transformer type thing. Anyway,
the end.
Then the sharks form into Megazord and kill all the humans. The end. Okay, so Dolph is wrestling with this shark, kind of. This is when Meredith grabs the underwater assault rifle. I assume, I don't know, because after she discovers that pin is for it, she doesn't ever say anything about it again. But she's got a rifle now, not just a gun. Jumps into the water and shoots while jumping into the water, and just very spot on shoots the shark and kills it and saves Dolph. Then they life raft to the shore. There's somebody running by who gives them their phone to call the police. And here's where I'm really confused. Dolph has been bitten in the shoulder, so he's bleeding. And they're like standing there waiting for the cops to come, and he's like very obviously in pain. And she's like, "Don't worry, they'll be here soon." And then immediately says, "You should go." And I was like, "Why?" And then he says, "I'm done running." And I was like, he literally didn't do anything. What are you talking about?
She just knows like the cops are going to show up and shoot him, so.
I get it, but like, she's the one that put out the APB. When she called for help, she could have been like, "Hey, I misunderstood the situation. He's fine and he needs help." But she's like, "You should go on." That is like the worst. Also, you should go be a fugitive. because I misunderstood what was happening in the situation and called the cops on you. Like, are you fucking kidding me? It makes no sense. Anyways, he says he's done running. He wants to be in Carly's life or whatever. So again, I'm so confused because the cops come and he's getting help. And he's like talking to his daughter, and she's like, I love you. And she's like, I love you too. Like, I got to go talk to the police chief for a little bit. Like, I'll see you later. And then Carly's like, don't worry, you'll see your dad soon. I promise. Meredith said that, not Carly. And then, so Dolph like goes off to like talk to the police chief. And there's a car sitting there with like the boss guy that told him he needed to go catch the shark. And he's like, guess they cleaned up the streets too. And then he drives off into the sunset. And I was like, what? Why was he there? Like, the whole ending of this really
I'm
baffled
assuming
me.
it was just a thing where he was like arrested like on the way there or some shit.
I guess so, but I don't know how they like connected him to anything.
Well, we'll find out in Shark Lake 2.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, weird ending. This movie just needed like 80% more Dolph Lundgren fist fighting.
Absolutely.
Shark.
Yeah, it was just like one of those situations where he was like barely in it.
Oh well. It's more Dolph Lundgren than we get in any of the other shark movies, so.
That's
True.
fair.
Any news? Did you look up anything, Katie?
Yeah, here's the best 8 kills in the Leprechaun franchise.
There's apparently
Apparently
Casting the Faces of Death remake.
Ugh, why?
Like, what's the point if you are gonna know that it's a movie and it's not like, oh, is this real? Is it not? You find it in a video store. Like, am I watching something illegal? Like, what's the point?
It's so
why do
It's
this?
so weird
right?
because I don't understand why or like what it's going to be, because there's no way it's going to be like a fake documentary again. It seems like it's got to be like a script of some kind that they're like making, and I'm like 10% interested because it's the people that like made Cam are like writing it. And so like if it's free I'll watch it, but like I have no interest in Faces of Death to begin with, let alone a fucking like weird whatever the fuck scripted version this is gonna be.
Yeah, very strange.
The black and white TV spots for Renfield with Nick Cage are incredible, and if we don't get a real movie of him as Dracula, I'm gonna be very upset. Any of this, the rest of this, apparently there's a Blade Runner 2099 pilot for Amazon series coming. Seems unnecessary.
I like Blade Runner, and I don't want that. I don't care. 2 movies are more than enough.
Yeah,
like
the fact that you got 2 watchable movies.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Incredible. A boon.
Can we
just take it?
Stop trying to make everything a fucking TV series? It doesn't need to be.
Not everything should be franchisable.
Well, especially because 9 times out of 10 they either don't get past the pilot, or they do season 1 and then they get canceled. So it's like, what's even the point?
Yeah. Speaking of, Willow canceled already. Because I'm assuming nobody cared.
Probably not.
I don't know. Did it even come out?
I knew it was coming out. I don't think I knew it got released.
And canceled.
Yeah. Apparently Sam Raimi said there might be a Drag Me to Hell 2.
Don't tease me.
I don't. How do you?
Don't even say anything. Just fucking do it.
How are you getting?
Sam?
That's the thing. It's like that's the thing that sucks. Is I really wish shit like this. You know how cool it would be if just all of a sudden they were just like, "Hey, next week, Drag Me to Hell 2."
Right?
Shit like that.
It's like a surprise.
Yeah, I feel like it used to be more like that.
I also don't know how you make a sequel to that movie.
Yeah, same.
It's
Christine in hell. She meets the dude from Doom and then has to fight her way out.
That would be incredible. That would
I'd pay so much money for that
immediately be a 5-star movie just from the idea alone.
premise.
Apparently, Evil Dead Rise getting bonkers good reviews from the premiere at South by
Yeah.
Southwest.
Apparently, it beats you off.
Oh man, I
Whoa.
can't fucking wait.
That's
Those movie theater seats out of control now.
Yeah, the 40 seats.
That's one of those things where I'm like, oh, that's promising. Like, it's getting pretty high reviews, but I know what's going to happen is the minute, like, regular people that aren't critics start reviewing it, that shit's going to drop drastically.
It's gonna get fucking bombed.
It's going to be one of those things where every critic's like, this is the greatest thing that happened, and then you're just like, okay, this was okay. All right. Katie, what'd you watch this week?
Well, I started.
Gundam Wing.
No. I started Roswell, and it is like reading someone's weird alien fanfic, but in like a good way. I'm like obsessed with it. I love it. I'm trying to like not just like breeze through it because I think it's only 2 seasons, so I'm only like either halfway or towards the end of season 1, and it's not great, but it's like my favorite thing right now. And I didn't realize actually like Katherine Hagel is one of the aliens, and she's like not really in it that much or whatever, but then the main character is the girl who plays the girlfriend in Swim Fan, and so I was like, amazing, I'm on board. I love this so much. I'm not really like into teen drama that much, but when I tell you, I was like, kiss that fucking alien boy, kiss him.
It's what every
It's great.
alien movie, TV show thing should be about. It's just somebody fucking an alien.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I'm kind of getting on board with it. I'm not gonna lie.
Why was Reaper so good? Dude was fucking a demon lady.
I mean, what else could you want? Then we finished whatever's out of Blacklist as our like whatever fall asleep show, and we started How to Get Away with Murder. It is so dumb. Very stupid, but we're entrapped now. And then I also started watching this ghost show called Kindred Spirits or something like that. And it's hosted by like one of the ladies who was like on Ghost Hunters like way back in the day. And it is so ridiculous also. So I'm just having a wild time over here with my aliens and my ghosts. No one's having a relationship with a ghost yet, but I'll keep you updated on
What
that.
was an alien?
And I think
a
that's
ghost?
it. I'm here for it. Let's do
A
it.
ghostlian.
Yeah. And then I watched Hush for our bonus episode. And I think that's it. I didn't really watch anything cool.
What about you, Kit?
I watched Beyond Reanimator, which I had only seen like parts of before, not the full thing. I think I only watched like the rat fighting the reanimated penis. It's okay.
Yeah, it's not the best, but it's totally watchable.
Yeah, I mean, you're trying to follow up Reanimator and Bride of Reanimator. Like, it's a miracle this is even watchable,
Right.
to be honest. I watched Shadow Zone, which I honestly don't remember anything about other than a really horrific-looking creature at the end. It looks not remotely like the beast that is on the cover. It is much meltier and sadder. I watched Zombie Death House, which was directed by John Saxon,
Yeah.
which I had no idea he directed a movie ever. And, kind of boring.
Yeah, it's not
Like,
not great.
yeah. But it's fine. It has an insanely cool poster.
Yeah.
And then I watched, speaking of movies directed by people that are surprising directors, The Vineyard, directed by James Hong. and that one pretty enjoyable. It's just every '80s shtick you can imagine thrown into one movie. He's out here killing people with voodoo dolls and shit, and
Perfect.
turning old, and I don't know, it's pretty fun. God damn it, the top review on it is The Island of Dr. Merlot. That's so fucking good. Jesus.
I love that.
I pretty much only watched, continuing my way through the Santo movies. I think I have 5 left out of that I have not been able to find on like YouTube or Internet Archive. So I think I've gone through 49 of them now.
Jesus.
Damn. Are they like full length movies?
Yeah, I mean they're like, I think the longest ones are like 95 minutes. Most of them are roughly an hour 20. They're very tight, because it's literally just like, they're all like, it's, just a fucking luchador wrestler fighting zombies or fucking vampires, and it's just like not exactly like
Yeah, nothing super
hard
serious.
plots, except let's see. Some of the highlights were Santo and Blue Demon versus Dracula and the Wolfman. Banger.
Amazing.
Maybe the best one so far. Mystery in the Bermuda Triangle, which is just Santo and Blue Demon in a Bermuda Triangle movie, which is incredible. I like, we've done all these characters go into space. Send them to the Bermuda Triangle now. Give me Freddy in the Bermuda Triangle.
I'm way down for that. Things get wacky in the triangle.
Santo versus Frankenstein's daughter was pretty good. There was, what was the one called where he's just kicking the shit out of Nazis? Oh, Anonymous Death Threat. Fucking rocks.
It's a sick name.
Him fucking just punching the shit out of Nazis. There's like a bunch of them. There's one where it's just like he gets hired by like the FBI to go like fight a kidnapping ring in like Ecuador or some shit. Like they're just the most wild plots.
I love it.
Just watching a dude fucking clothesline shitty people. It rocks. But yeah, like I said, I only got like, I think I have 5 regular movies, and then there's like 2 documentaries about him I'm trying to like track down that are just sort of MIA online for free. Santo versus the Killers from the Other Worlds, which I'm going to assume is aliens. Suicide Mission, which is Santo must investigate a secret conspiracy involving a spy training camp, a brainwashing plot, and a kidnapped Nazi scientist. Night of San Juan, Santo and Black Gold, which is him stopping robot terrorists from sabotaging oil supplies in Puerto Rico.
Robot terrorists.
Santo versus the TV killer. Santo takes on Magnus, who is taking control of television stations to broadcast kidnappings and other such criminal activities. And then there's some fucking karate movie that I'm sure rocks.
Sounds like a perfect career to me.
Honestly, these like most of them are like 2.5 to 3-star movies. I don't think I've rated anything under 2.5. And that's pretty good for a 52 movie career.
Yeah.
Like, they're all extremely fun, even if like, the quality isn't like the best. Just watching a dude in like a luchador mask just clothesline fucking evil scientists and shit, and like fucking the spy movies where he's just like bombing around in like a sweater and a luchador mask and driving like cars with gadgets and shit are fun. Perfect franchise. Bring Santo back. I think there was one I watched where like it seems like they were trying to do a Son of Santo series that maybe only did like a couple movies. That just didn't seem like it took off, but I think when I get done, there's like the Blue Demon character has his own kind of set of movies that I might try to watch too. I'm all in on luchador fucking weird movies. They're all pretty dope. I think other than that, like, just watching Real Housewives of Potomac with Caitlin. It's a nightmare. It's totally it's like, if you like garbage TV, it's pretty great. It's
I'm in.
it's just garbage
Say no
reality.
more.
Like, it's out of like the Real Housewives franchises I've seen, I only really care about that one in New Jersey. And New Jersey's just because everyone on it is the worst person you've ever met. Just everybody sucks so bad. And they just fucking yell at each other in like thick New Jersey accents all the time. Alright, shout outs, Katie.
Snacks.
Hell yeah. Just the concept of snacks.
Like, literally. I made like a little snack plate the other day that was like some little cheese, some little crackers, some little olives, and then just like this and that. And then I was just like, is there anything better than just a plate of snacks? I don't think so.
A bowl of snacks? Because then they can't fall off your
yeah.
plate.
2 plates.
Oh shit.
Well, but see, the root concept of snacks is still there. You can just expound upon it infinitely. Snacks.
There's a, like, what the fuck is that brand name? I can't think of now. Fuck, it's the vegan milk company. I don't know why I can't think of it. Califia does, like, they just, like, I think recently introduced, like, a chocolate oat milk that's, like, the best thing I've ever drank.
I literally, well, it was almond, but I had chocolate milk for the first time earlier. And like, not the first time ever. I've had chocolate
like,
milk before,
what?
but in
Yeah,
a very,
like,
very,
fuck.
it was in a very long time, and it just like really hit the spot because I was like, I'm not feeling well, and I was like, I'm craving chocolate milk, and I'm gonna go get some, and it was life changing.
That's like my favorite thing. Like,
It's so good.
food product is chocolate oat milk.
Yum.
Katie, what's your favorite snack?
Oh my god.
If you could only eat one snack for the rest of your life.
That's really hard, but I think top of my mind comes to chips. I fucking love chips.
You gotta be more specific
Like,
about chips.
I don't know if I can be more
You
specific.
have to, or else a
Ham chips.
Oh my
a
God.
Shark Gundam is gonna get you. It's not like this is a real thing. Just pick one.
I would say some of my top chips would be like Zapp's Voodoo kettle cooked chips, or maybe like a Pringle. Pizza Pringles.
One Pringle.
Just one.
Once you pop, the fun don't stop, okay? You gotta eat a whole can of Pringles. I just like fucking love chips. Doritos. I do it, like the thing that made me think about saying snacks actually was dill pickle chips.
Yeah.
They're like one of my favorite things, and I try any ones that I can find. They're so good.
Yeah, dill pickle chips are the best. Most of the time not vegan,
Yes.
but if I find them when they are, it's over.
Milk, like what? Why?
There's usually some sort of milk.
But I
I don't know
like
why,
obviously, but I wonder why.
I think
Like,
it's-
what about pickles?
I think it's
The dust, maybe.
more, yeah, it's just because I feel like there's probably just like some sort of like binding agent kind of thing in it. Like, that's why I think
Yeah.
like most Pringles aren't vegan, and I think it's something to do with like some sort of like binding agent for the whatever flavor is in it.
Yeah,
It's all the
that's
prings they
I'm
kill
not
to make
I'm not a
them.
food scientist. I don't know.
the live prings. I think that being a food scientist would be fun.
Well, you start a new career, food
All
scientist.
right, I will. Yeah, I got a PhD in food. Ask me anything.
Kit, what's your shout out?
Go
Followed
listen
up by
to
favorite snack.
Wait, what?
followed up by favorite snack. Okay.
Yeah.
Say go listen to my friends in Tyrant's Might. Say they've released a demo, really good like funky Celtic Frost kind of stuff if you like that. If you happen to be in Dallas, I was gonna say their show is tomorrow night, but this drops. It'll be tonight.
later.
So if you happen to
They're
be,
probably
yeah,
playing
whatever.
tomorrow night whenever you listen to this.
Yeah,
Yeah, probably.
that one. But yeah, they're real good. They rock. They've got extremely dope promo photos. What more could you want? All right, favorite snack. Just like regular snack. Can it be a dessert snack?
Yeah, whatever you
Yeah,
consider
anything
snack.
you would eat as a snack. Desserts or snacks?
Oh, I'm so torn. Recently, my go-to has been the jalapeno cheddar cheese Cheetos.
Oh my god, sounds so good.
Yum.
That's
I love
difficult to fucking
Cheetos.
say. Jesus. Jalapeno cheddar Cheetos. There we go.
Cheetos.
Got it. Yeah, those have been my go-to of late. They're really fucking good.
Yum. I have like periods where I literally cannot stop eating like the puffs, the puffed versions of
Oh,
the
yeah. They're way better.
They're so satisfying to eat.
If they could make the
They're
jalapeno
so
cheddar
good.
ones in the like
A
puff
puff?
Cheeto form,
Yeah.
oh my god, that's
You know
fucking
what?
game over for everyone else.
Also, oh my, that would be so good. One of my other favorites is seasonal, and it's the bag of bones that they do because they're like puffed, but their shapes, they're so good. I want them.
My shout out is
I'm
Robert
hungry.
Smith, slowly taking down Ticketmaster. Hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fuck Ticketmaster, to be honest.
Yeah, Ticketmaster can suck my ass.
Yes, I swore off Ticketmaster until Caitlin and I were talking. Irene got tickets and signed up for the like the verified fan thing because I was just like, I'm not dealing with Ticketmaster. I'm not dealing with like a fucking $100 ticket and then like $80 of fucking service fees and shit to see The Cure again. And then Robert Smith somehow got them to like their base tickets were only $20 for The Cure.
Holy
And I was like,
shit.
fuck, we gotta go. But then it was, $80 in fees on top of that. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
then Robert Smith bitched at him again, and they were just like, I guess here's $15 back, everybody.
Yeah.
And sent out an email and was just like, yeah, thanks Robert for this. Tell Robert thank you for this. It's just some real fucking shitty email about giving people a refund. Fuck Ticketmaster.
Amazing.
It's the fucking worst.
Seriously.
Favorite
Snack?
Yes. I don't know if it exists anymore because I haven't seen it at least since I moved to New Jersey. But So Delicious. I think it was So Delicious. Some ice cream company used to do a snickerdoodle ice cream. That was my favorite thing on earth, like a vegan snickerdoodle ice cream.
Yum.
I haven't seen it so long, and I miss it.
Yum. So Delicious is pretty good.
Yeah, once they like switched to like cashew milk, it was over. That's the best part.
Oh, I used to always get their like coconut milk stuff products.
Their coconut milk is fine,
'cause
but
they make-
like the cashew milk is like creamier. So it it just makes it a little bit more regular ice cream feeling. I always feel like coconut ice cream is like very, I don't know how to explain it, like stiff isn't the right word, but it's very like
I know what you mean. I like their I don't get their ice cream, but they came out with like a line of yogurt that I really like. It's coconut milk yogurt. Yeah. It's so good. Good.
Ben and Jerry's started doing like sunflower milk for some of their vegan ice creams, and it's so good.
Ooh, yum.
Yeah, ice cream's probably my go-to snack most of the time.
I don't have ice cream a lot, but I do really like it. I don't know why it's just like one of those things I don't really buy. But
I like those little Bluebell cups that they make. Real good. Perfect
I've
little
never
snack
tried
size.
those. Bluebell is good though. Yum.
All right, next week, Hologram Man.
What the fuck? The fuck is that? Did you make that up?
No, it is from 1995. It's on YouTube, I think, is where I found it for free.
How you know it's
I
good?
saw people basically saying it's like Lawnmower Man and Demolition Man combined, and I'm in.
The fuck?
Yeah, the picture you sent made me think of
5 years
but this is
after,
hologram
yeah,
Lawnmower Man.
5 years after the Mad Terrorist / Gallagher, so you already know it's good, was sentenced to holographic stasis. He is given a parole hearing, but an equipment failure engineered by his cronies transforms the criminal to a living hologram with godlike powers. Now stopping him is up to Kurt Dakota.
Hell yeah, it
DECODA.
is.
These names are incredible. This movie's gonna rock. I think Tiny Lister's in it, so you know it's good. So yeah, that's next week. I found it. I'm pretty sure. Let me see, make sure before I actually say this is what we're doing. But I'm pretty sure it was on YouTube for free. Let's see. Yes, it's on here for free. Got a couple options for free, so it's been in my watch list for a while, and I was like, I want to find something real stupid, like action movie-ish looking, and I saw Lawnmower Man meets Demolition Man, and I was in. That's all I need to hear. Alright, if you would like to support us, you could join our Patreon at patreon.com/IHopeYouSufferPodcast. We have like 800 hours of bonus episodes from last week that dropped.
Seriously.
Our best of episodes, there's like a new mix. There's a episode Katie and I did on Batman Hush. So you're missing out. There's some fucking, you could hear the Callous Dowboys twice in our best albums.
Perfect.
You could hear me not understand Kit when he said Paul Coffins, and I said thought he said Coffins, which I think was a much cooler name, and he should change it. Also,
That'll be like his oh my god, what's his name? Chris Gaines. That's his Chris Gaines style alter ego.
that song you picked on it though rocks though. It's very good. Yeah, you could buy merch at our Store Frontier shop. Leave us a rating on Spotify and a rating and review on iTunes. Tell us if you think Dolph Lundgren could fight a shark in real life and win.
Absolutely.
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
No
I
question.
think it depends on the shark.
He could out chemical engineer it also.
I feel like he would just grab a hammerhead shark and hit another shark with it.
Yeah, definitely.
That would rule so hard.
You can follow us on Instagram at I Hope You Suffer Podcast. Follow Kid at Hidden Kitstery and Kitrification of Blood. Follow Katie at Werewolf Face. And you can join Katie's Patreon at patreon.com/werewolfface. You can listen to my other podcast named Kate Movie Club. Yeah, Hologram Man next week. Gonna be a banger. I got faith. It's a good one. Just those names alone, it's gotta be good.
Right?
Fair.
I feel like maybe one of the dudes from that American Cyborg whatever fucking movie might be in it. Yep, I was correct. I think the main guy, the what's this guy's name? Joe Lara. The main guy from American Cyborg Steel Warrior is also the main guy, like the good guy in Hologram Man, so you know it's gonna rock.
Perfect.
He was also Tarzan at Tarzan in Manhattan. What a career. What the fuck is Death Game? I gotta watch this.
Sounds pretty sweet.
It's got a guy playing basketball on the cover. That I assume means someone's going to die if they don't play basketball correctly. Hell yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Once I get through all these Santa and Blue Demon movies, I'm about to go on a Joe Lara fucking binge. Human Time Bomb? Come on. How you gonna turn that fucking title down? Alright. I hope you don't get hit with a hammerhead shark by Dolph Lundgren, but why?